The sleek black SUV rolled to a stop at the edge of the serene Vermont lakeside. The late afternoon sun cast a soft glow on its glossy surface. Yria stepped out first, adjusting her sunglasses and surveying the tranquil scene. Her linen dress swayed gently in the breeze, and a silk scarf hung loosely around her neck. Tiff, Vicky and Emma followed, each stepping out in stylish yet comfortable outfits, wide-brimmed hats, tailored trousers, and light wraps, perfect for a day of luxurious relaxation. "This spot is perfect," Tiff said, glancing around at the calm lake, framed by lush trees. "I can already feel the stress melting away." "Don't get too relaxed just yet," Vicky teased, stretching her arms as she shot Yria a knowing smile. "I'm betting there's more to this picnic than just a great view." Yria smiled, moving to the back of the SUV. "But first things first, let's get everything set up." With practiced ease, she opened the trunk, revealing an exquisitely crafted picnic basket, a luxurious designer piece lined from fine linen, its compartments carefully arranged to keep everything in perfect order. Alongside it were several plush organic cotton blankets in rich, complementary colors. "Now that's what I call a picnic basket," Vicky said, raising an eyebrow as she admired the craftsmanship. As they carried the basket and blankets to a secluded spot by the lake, the water lapped gently at the shore, providing a soothing backdrop. The friends worked together to spread out the blankets, creating a cozy, inviting space that felt like an extension of the natural beauty around them. "I have to admit, these blankets are heavenly," Emma remarked as she smoothed one out on the grass. "I might just curl up and take a nap right here." "Not before we unpack the basket," Tiff said, her tone teasing, but her eyes full of curiosity. Yria set the basket down in the center of their setup. "First, I've got something for each of you." She pulled out 3 small, elegantly wrapped packages, handing one to each friend. Vicky grinned as she unwrapped her gift, revealing a beautifully crafted journal with a sleek, sustainable cover embossed with her initials. "You always know how to spoil us, Yria, but I'm not complaining." Tiff's eyes lit up as she uncovered a pair of elegant gold earrings. "These are gorgeous You really didn't have to, but I'm so glad you did. Emma unwrapped a silk scarf embroidered with her initials, holding it up to admire the delicate craftsmanship. This is beautiful, Yria. You have such a knack for picking out the perfect thing. With the gifts admired and the blankets arranged, the friends began to organize the rest of their picnic setup. Yria carefully unpacked the basket, revealing an array of gourmet delights, artisanal cheeses, truffle-infused spreads, smoked salmon, and fresh berries, each item placed on fine china plates. Is it just me, or does this look too good to eat? Vicky joked, though she was already reaching for a piece of cheese. Just wait until you taste it, Yria replied, setting out the last of the plates. But first, let's make sure everything's just right. As they finished setting up, the friends took a moment to step back and admire their work. The sun hung low in the sky, casting a warm, golden light over the water. This, Emma said softly, is just what we were missing. Yria nodded, a sense of satisfaction settling over her as she looked around at her friends. It's all about creating the right atmosphere. With everything in place, the friends settled onto the blankets, their eyes lingering on the delicious spread before them. The warmth of the late afternoon sun and the gentle breeze of the lake made the moment feel almost magical. "All right," Tiff said, leaning back with a grin. "I'm officially ready to relax. Let's enjoy this." With the picnic spread beautifully arranged, the friends settled onto their blankets, the vibrant colors contrasting softly against the green grass. The gourmet feast laid out before them was almost too beautiful to touch. Almost. Tiff, eyeing the artisanal cheeses and fresh berries, couldn't resist any longer. "All right, enough with the admiring. I'm diving in," she declared, reaching for a delicate slice of truffle-infused brie. This is what dreams are made of. Not to mention, it's probably the most Instagrammable picnic I've ever seen, Vicky added with a grin, though she kept her phone tucked away, savoring the moment in real life instead. She took a piece of the smoked salmon, closing her eyes as she savored the rich, delicate flavor. "Yria, you've outdone yourself. I might actually never leave." "Good luck with that," Emma said, laughing as she spread some truffle-infused tapenade on a piece of artisanal bread. "I'm sure your boss would love to hear that you've decided to become a full-time picnic connoisseur." "Can you imagine the resignation letter?" Vicky shot back. "Dear sir, I regret to inform you that I've found my true calling in life, eating delicious food by beautiful lakes, Please forward all future communications to Vermont. Tiff nearly choked on her berry, laughing. Honestly, I think that's a career move we could all get behind. Yria smiled, pleased to see her friends so relaxed and happy. She took a sip of her sparkling water, enjoying the sound of the laughter mingling with the natural serenity of the lake. Well, if you ever decide to make it official, you know who to call for catering, she said, offering a playful wink. As the conversation flowed, the friends shared stories from the past weeks. Office dramas, dating misadventures, and the occasional triumph. The easy banter was punctuated by genuine moments of connection, their friendship deepening with each shared experience. Emma, wiping a crumb from the corner of her mouth, leaned back on her blanket and sighed. You know, this is doing me good. Just us, no distractions, and this incredible food. Agreed, Tiff said, popping another berry into her mouth. And I have to say, I don't miss the constant ping of emails one bit. You and me both, Vicky added, flipping open her new journal. I think I'm going to start jotting down some thoughts. Maybe I'll write about today and how it's going to ruin for me all future picnics. Yria laughed softly. That's a journal entry I'd love to read. Though you know, I do have a few more surprises in store. Today isn't over yet. Emma raised an eyebrow, intrigued. Oh? Are you going to give us a hint, or do we have to wait? Yria shook her head, smiling mysteriously. Patience, my dear Emma. You'll find out soon enough. The afternoon sun began its slow descent, casting a warm, golden light over the lake. The air, which had been comfortably warm, started to cool ever so slightly, a gentle reminder that evening was approaching. Noticing the change, Yria glanced at the wood pile she had brought along. It's starting to get a little chilly, she said casually. How about we set up a fire? It'll add to the atmosphere, and we can keep the evening going as long as we want. Tiff nodded, already feeling the cool breeze. Perfect timing. I was just starting to think about grabbing my blanket. With practiced ease, Yria gathered the firewood and began to arrange it in a small, stone-lined pit they had discovered earlier, just a few steps away from their picnic setup. Vicky handed her a match, and within moments, the fire was crackling to life, its warmth radiating outwards and creating a cozy glow. Now this, Vicky said, wrapping her blanket around her shoulders, is how you do a picnic. Warm fire, good food, and great friends. What more could we ask for? Maybe a story or two to go with it, Emma suggested, her eyes sparkling in the firelight. We've already covered the usual updates, Let's hear something fun, like your best vacation disaster story. Oh, I've got one, Tiff said immediately, her face lighting up. But be warned, it involves a lot of sunburn and a questionable encounter with a jellyfish. As the fire crackled warmly beside them, the friends settled in closer, the evening chill kept at bay by the flickering flames and the soft embrace of their blankets. The conversation continued, rich with laughter and the kind of stories that only close friends can share. The friends had moved even closer together, now fully wrapped in their blankets. The initial excitement of this picnic had settled into a comfortable, contented silence. Each of them lost in their thoughts, savoring the beauty of the moment. Yria leaned back, her eyes drifting over the calm waters of the lake, now tinged with hues of pink and orange. She noticed Emma staring thoughtfully into the fire, the flames reflected in her eyes, and decided to break the silence with a gentle question. "Penny for your thoughts?" Yria asked quietly. Emma looked up, smiling. "Just thinking about how rare moments like this are. We get so caught up in the day-to-day rush that we forget how important it is to just be." "I couldn't agree more," Tiff added, pulling her blanket tighter around her shoulders as she gazed out at the lake. "It's funny, sometimes we need a little reminder that the world won't end if we take a break." Vicky nodded, her journal open on her lap, though she hadn't written in it yet. "Exactly. It's about balance. We work hard, but what's the point if we don't take time to enjoy the rewards?" Yria smiled, feeling the peace of the evening settle over her. "That's why I wanted to bring us here," she said, "to remind ourselves that it's okay to slow down." The friends fell silent again, each reflecting on their words. The fire's warmth was comforting as the evening continued to cool. After a while, Vicky finally picked up her pen and began to write in her journal, the scratch of ink on paper adding to the soothing sounds of the evening. She glanced up at Yria, who was watching her with a smile. "Starting a new chapter?" Emma asked, her tone light but curious. "Something like that," Vicky replied, keeping her pen. "I just wanted to capture this moment. It's not every day we get to escape like this." Tiff, who had been lying back on her blanket, her eyes half closed, let out a contented sigh. "We need more of this, more days where we just step away from everything." Emma nodded in agreement. "Definitely. We should make this a regular thing, even if it's just once a year." "I like that idea," Yria said, her voice warm with approval. "It doesn't have to be elaborate, just something we can do together. The conversation continued, flowing naturally between topics, some light and humorous, others more introspective and personal. The fire crackled beside them. The vintage record player they had brought and set, humming softly in the background, filling the silence with nostalgic melodies. As the sun dipped lower, casting long shadows over the water, Yria looked around at her friends, feeling grateful. This was exactly what she had hoped for. A day where they could all slow down, reconnect, and simply enjoy being together. She leaned back, resting her head against the cushion she had brought, and closed her eyes, letting the sounds of the evening wash over her. The fire crackled, the lake lapped gently at the shore, and the soft strains of music filled the air. It was a moment she knew she would cherish for a long time. The friends had settled into a quiet, reflective mood, enjoying the simple pleasure of each other's company and the beauty of their surroundings. But Yria, ever the planner, had one more surprise up her sleeve. She stood up, stretching slightly, as she gazed out over the calm waters of the lake. "I think it's time for a little adventure," she announced with a mischievous smile. Tiff, who had been lying back on her blanket, sat up with interest. "Adventure? What do you have in mind?" Yria pointed toward the small wooden dock nearby, where a beautifully crafted rowboat gently bobbed in the water. The boat was vintage, its polished wood gleaming in the fading light, with soft cushions lining the seats. "How about a little row around the lake? The water's perfect right now, and we could use a change of scenery." Emma's eyes lit up at the sight of the boat. "I love it. It's like something out of a classic film. We absolutely have to take it out." Vicky chuckled, already gathering her things. "As long as I don't have to row the entire time, but someone else is definitely taking a turn." Yria laughed softly. "Don't worry, we'll all share the work. And besides, this boat practically glides through the water on its own. It'll be a breeze." With that, the friends made their way down to the dock, the wooden planks creaking gently under their feet. The air was cool and fresh, carrying with it the earthy scent of the lake and the distant sounds of evening birds. As they approached the boat, Yria untied it from the dock and steadied it, helping each of her friends climb in one by one. Tiff settled into the cushioned seat at the front, wrapping her blanket around her shoulders as she gazed out at the water. "This is the kind of luxury time I could get used to," she remarked, with a satisfied sigh. Vicky took her place at the oars, though she eyed them with mock trepidation. "All right, Captain," she said, glancing at Yria. "Where to?" "And please don't say Canada. I'm not up for an international expedition tonight." Yria smiled as she climbed in, taking the other set of oars beside Vicky. "How about we just explore? No particular destination, just wherever the water takes us. Sound good?" "Perfect," Emma agreed, leaning back in her seat with a contented smile. "Let's just drift and see where we end up." With a coordinated push, Yria and Vicky dipped their oars in the water, and the boat glided smoothly away from the dock. The gentle rhythm of the oars dipping in and out of the water was mesmerizing, lulling them into a state of calm and comfortable silence. The lake was serene, its surface reflecting the fiery colors of the sunset like a mirror. As they rowed, the sounds of the evening surrounded them, the soft rustling of the trees, the distant call of a loon, and the occasional splash of a fish breaking the water. It was a moment of pure tranquility, the kind that felt almost timeless. "Isn't this just perfect?" Emma whispered, as if speaking too loudly might shatter the peacefulness of the scene. "It's like we're the only ones in the world right now." Vicky nodded, her strokes steady and slow. This is what they write about in novels, moments like this, where everything just feels right. Yria smiled, her heart full, as she looked around at her friends. "I couldn't have asked for a better day. This is exactly what I hoped it would be. Relaxing, beautiful, and just a little bit magical." Tiff, still wrapped in her blanket, sighed contentedly. "I think this is my favorite part of the day so far. Just drifting like this, with no agenda and nowhere we have to be." As they continued to row, the boat passed by small inlets and hidden coves, each one more picturesque than the last. The light continued to fade, casting the lake in soft shades of twilight, and the air grew cooler, prompting the friends to pull their blankets closer around them. After a while, Yria and Vicky slowed their strokes, letting the boat drift naturally. They had reached the center of the lake, where the water was deepest and the reflection of the sky was the clearest. It was a moment of stillness, the boat gently rocking as they sat in silence, taking it all in. "Can we just stay here forever?" Tiff asked, her voice tinged with longing. "This is the kind of peace you can't find anywhere else." "I wish we could," Yria replied softly, her gaze fixed on the horizon. where the last light of day was fading. But even if we can't, we'll always have this memory, and maybe that's enough. Vicky set the oars down, stretching out her arms. Let's just enjoy it for a little while longer. No need to rush back. And so they did. The friends sat quietly in the boat, wrapped in their blankets, the fire on the shore now just a distant glow. They let the boat drift, carried by the gentle currents of the lake, while the stars began to twinkle overhead. It was a moment that would linger in their hearts long after the day had ended. Eventually, as the night grew darker and the chill in the air deepened, Yria took up the oars again. "I suppose we should head back," she said reluctantly, breaking the comfortable silence. "But I'm glad we took this little detour." "Me too," Emma agreed, her voice soft. It was a beautiful moment. With that, they began the slow row back to the dock, their conversation quiet and reflective, each of them reluctant to let the moment go. But as they approached the shore, the welcoming warmth of the fire awaited them, promising more time together before the day was truly over. As the boat gently bumped against the dock, Yria smiled to herself, knowing that this simple row around the lake would be one of the memories they would all treasure. The friends made their way back to the picnic area. The glow of the fire greeted them, its warmth a welcome contrast to the cooling evening. Yria led the way, her blanket draped elegantly over her shoulders. "I hope you all saved room," she said with a smile, glancing back at her friends, "because the best part of the picnic is about to begin." Tiff, still wrapped in her blanket, raised an eyebrow. "You've been holding out on us, haven't you? What's this surprise you've been hinting at?" Emma chuckled, her breath visible in the cooling air. "Knowing Yria, it's going to be something amazing. I mean, she's already spoiled us with this incredible day." Yria's smile widened as they approached the picnic area. There, near the fire, stood a small table, draped in a pristine white cloth. Upon it was an elegant silver tray, and beside it, a sharply dressed private chef stood waiting, a testament to the final touch of luxury Yria had planned for the day. "Oh, you've got to be kidding me," Vicky said, her eyes widening in surprise. "A private chef? Yria, you've really outdone yourself this time." The chef, noticing their arrival, gave a polite nod and a warm smile. "Good evening, ladies," he said in a smooth, practiced tone. "I hope you've been enjoying your day. I'm here to serve you a selection of exquisite desserts and beverages to complete your experience." Tiff, unable to hide her excitement, clapped her hands together. This is what I've been waiting for. Dessert time. What do you have for us? The chef gestured to the silver tray, revealing a stunning array of delicate pastries, each one a masterpiece of culinary art. Tonight I've prepared a selection of petits fours, including raspberry macarons, dark chocolate ganache tarts, strawberry tarts, and lemon madeleines. To accompany these, I have a variety of single origin coffees and fine teas, each brewed to perfection. Emma let out a small appreciative sigh as she admired the pastries. This is just what I've been missing. I don't even know where to start. May I recommend starting with the raspberry macarons? The chef suggested, his tone warm but professional. They pair beautifully with the Darjeeling tea I've prepared. Yria gestured for her friends to take a seat around the fire. Let's make ourselves comfortable and enjoy this last indulgence. We've earned it. As the friends settled onto their blankets, the chef expertly poured the tea into delicate porcelain cups, each one a work of art. The steam rose in elegant tendrils, carrying the rich aroma of the carefully brewed tea into the cool evening air. He then prepared the coffee, the dark velvety liquid, filling the air with its intoxicating scent. Tiff took her cup of tea with a grateful smile, her hands curling around the warmth of the porcelain. This is magical, the perfect way to end the day. Vicky selected a dark chocolate ganache tart, savoring the first bite as the rich flavor melted on her tongue. She murmured, "Everything about today has been perfect, but this is the icing on the cake." Emma, nibbling on a lemon madeleine, nodded in agreement. It's like every detail has been thought out, every moment designed to make us feel special. Yria, you've really created something magical here. Yria sipped her tea, feeling the contentment of the day settle over her. "I'm just glad you all could be here to share it with me," she said. "That's what really makes it special." As they enjoyed their desserts, the conversation flowed easily, punctuated by laughter and the occasional exclamation of delight as someone discovered a new favorite treat. The fire crackled warmly beside them, its glow reflecting in their eyes as the evening deepened. After a while, the chef discreetly stepped back, allowing the friends to savor their time together without interruption. The stars began to twinkle overhead, and the lake, now dark and still, mirrored the night sky perfectly. The soft strains of music from the vintage record player blended with the sounds of the light, creating an atmosphere of peaceful contentment. Tiff, setting her empty cup down, leaned back on her blanket and gazed up at the stars. I think this might be one of the best days I've ever had, she said quietly. Everything about it was just right. Vicky nodded, her journal open on her lap, as she jotted down a few final thoughts. It's days like this that remind me why we work so hard. To be able to take a step back, relax, and enjoy life's simple treasures. There's nothing better. Emma added, we should make this a tradition. Even if it's just once a year, we should come back here and do this again. It's too special not to. Yria smiled as she looked around at her friends. I couldn't agree more. This is just the beginning. There are so many more days like this ahead of us. As the night grew darker and the fire began to burn lower, the friends continued to enjoy the warmth of the moment, the taste of the exquisite desserts lingering on their tongues, and the comfort of knowing that they had creating something truly special together. The fire had burned down to glowing embers, casting a soft, warm light over the lakeside as the evening deepened into night. The air was crisp and cool, with a faint scent of pine and smoke lingering as a gentle reminder of the day's adventures. The friends sat in comfortable silence, their bellies full, their spirits content. Yria stretched her legs out, feeling the warmth of the embers on her feet as she glanced around at her friends. They were all wrapped in their blankets, faces illuminated by the dying fire, each lost in their own thoughts. We should probably start packing up, Yria said softly, her voice breaking the quiet, but in a way that felt natural. The night's telling us it's time. Emma nodded, slowly rising to her feet and folding her blanket. And just think, next time we come back, we'll have this memory to build on. Yria smiled as they began to pack up, working together to carefully fold the blankets, gather the remnants of their picnic, and ensure that nothing was left behind. The private chef had already quietly departed, leaving only the memory of his exquisite desserts and the lingering taste of the fine teas and coffees. As they worked, the conversation was light and easy, filled with laughter and the occasional teasing remark. There was a sense of camaraderie that came from a day well spent, and it showed in the way they moved together, each one taking care to preserve the peace and beauty of the lakeside. Once everything was packed away, they stood for a moment at the edge of the lake, looking out over the dark, still waters. The stars twinkled overhead, reflected perfectly on the surface of the lake, creating a mirror image of the night sky. This view never gets old, Tief said quietly, her voice filled with awe. It's like something out of a painting. It really is, Emma agreed, slipping her arm through Yria's. I'm so glad we did this. I feel like I've been reset, like I can go back to the world and face anything now. They lingered for a few more minutes, each one taking a final mental snapshot of the scene before them, locking it away as a memory to cherish. Then, with one last look at the shimmering lake, they turned and made their way back.